Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from chapter 3, chapter 14, text 20. Chapter 14, text 20. The three modes of material nature. .20. Maybe we'll word by word we'll repeat and then we will chant the Devanagari words. Gunan, Etan, Atiya, Trin, Dehi, Deha, Samudbhavan, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Dukkaihi, Vimuktaha, Amartam, Ashnute, Gunanetanatyatrin, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkair, Vimukto Amartam Ashnute, Gunanetanatyatrin, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkair, Vimukto Amritam Ashnute, Gunanetanatyatrin, Deha Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkair, Vimukto Amritam Ashnute, Gunanetan Atityatrin, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkai, Vimukto Amartam Ashnute, Gunanetan Atityatrin, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkai, Vimukto Amartam Ashnute. Gunanetan Atityatrin, Dehi Deha Samudbhavan, Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkai, Vimukto Amartam Ashnute. Gunan, qualities, Etan, all these, Atitya, transcending, Trin, three, Dehi, the embodied, Deha, the body, Samudbhavan, produced of, Janma, of birth, Mrityu, death, Jara, and old age, Dukkaihi, the distresses, Vimuktaha, being freed from, Amartam, nectar, Ashnute, he enjoys. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Purport. How one can stay in the transcendental position even in this body in full Krishna consciousness is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word Dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body, by his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of the modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. It's not completed. That's all, it's here. That's all, it's here.
Here in other words.
But it's not here. Stopped. I'll take this. It is there, it's half of the. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation from material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. Alright? That's all. Correct? There, which is. It's repeated here. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namah Om Vishnu-padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti-Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyatishadari Panchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyete Girim Yatkripatam Mahamande Shri Gurum Dinatarina Jatam Surato Pangur Mamamantam Madirgadi Matsarvasva Padam Boja Radha Madanamavana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Bhagavad-Gita, 14th chapter, text 20, about the three modes of material nature. This is supposed to be one of the most inspiring and amazing chapters of all the chapters, because it's the story about us. Because here, then if you see in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna speaks about the modes of nature. This chapter exclusively says modes of material nature, but still all through the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna touches on the three modes of nature, and even he speaks more on the 18th chapter about three modes of nature. He gives very importance to the modes of nature. Because why, what is the reason we should focus on this aspect, three modes of nature? The Prabhupada explains here that by knowledge, by spiritual knowledge, we can transcend these modes of nature and can be happy even in this material body. From Brahma down to the smallest ant, all want to be happy, right? We all want to be happy. I mean, that is the nature of the soul, because we are Satchidananda. Ananda is there in our hearts because we are part of the Lord, and we all want to be happy. Naturally, that is our right. But because we are entangled in this material world, when we say material world, it's nothing else. It's simply the three modes of material nature. It's like the Krishna here gives us a strategy. Like if you are prisoners in a prison house and the prisoners want to escape from the prison house, they will make a strategy. How to break what, when to come out, how to break it. So here Krishna is giving that strategy to us, how to break this prison house of this material world and to go back to Him. Krishna's only desire, his only wish is to see us back to Him. We may have forgotten, because it's time immemorial, millions and millions of births have passed and we have lost connection practically with Krishna. And we, those who have come to Krishna consciousness, are greatly fortunate by the mercy of Guru Krishna, that we have got this, revived our lost relationship. Now we understand, oh, there is Krishna, oh, he is the Supreme Lord, oh, we have some relationship with him. And being the devotees, we very clearly understand the three modes of nature. If you see the outside people who are not taken to Bhakti Marg, Krishna consciousness, they don't understand. The animals, they are simply in the modes of ignorance. We have three gunas, right? They are speaking about three gunas, three modes of nature, that is Sattva-guna, Rajaguna and Tamaguna. And the animal kingdom is full of Tamaguna. What do? They want to eat, they will eat. They want to sleep, they will sleep. They want to fight, they will fight. Just reactions of the modes of nature on the Tamaguna. Reaction to the senses, requirement of the senses. So outside people who are not taken to the Bhakti Marg, they don't understand what is modes of nature and they just react to the modes of nature. They will act just like animals. But when we devotees, we understand. Oh, see, this is now I am in Rajaguna, I am acting like this. Oh, I am in Tamaguna, I am acting like this. I am in Sattva-guna. All these three gunas are binding. Like I said, this material world, we have heard many times, Prabhupada has described in the scriptures many times, is a prison house. Who are in the prison house? Those who violate the laws of the government, violate the laws of the state. They are put there, actually, not really punishment, to correct them. Actually, prisons is not meant for punishing an individual. Unfortunately, in prisons in India and some other countries, they are punishing. It's actually to correct the individual and make him right and send him back to the society. So, because we had come to this material world to enjoy, Krishna has given us the facility. But as I told you in the beginning, his only desire is to take us back home, back to God. He gives us various facilitation. Although because we want to enjoy, he gives us the facilities. Simultaneously, he reminds us again and again through sadhus, through he sends his son, sometimes his messenger, sometimes he himself descends to this material world to revive our lost Krishna consciousness, to revive that, come back to me. So in this material, if you are in a prison house, for example, if I tell you, my dear sir, you go to the prison, you know there, I will give you golden chain. I will shackle you with golden chain. Gold is a very precious thing, I will shackle you with golden chain. Will you think any sensible person will want to go? He will want to go. Whether it's a golden chain, Sattva-guna, or whether it's a bronze or a silver, Rajaguna, or it's iron chain of Tamaguna, it is binding, shackling us. So the modes of nature by himself are binding us. If you see the picture, there's a nice picture in this book Bhagavad-Gita, where there are strings like a puppet show. The puppets are being handled by the director, by the actor or the person who is controlling them. But for the spectators who are watching, it looks like the dolls are acting themselves. But actually, it is controlled by this director. Exactly, Krishna says the same thing. He says in the 3rd chapter, 27th verse, he says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunahi karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Krishna says that this material world is completely working under these three modes of nature. Every living entity is controlled by them. But by the false ego, the living entity thinks, Kartaham iti manya, Kartaham, I am the Karta, I am the doer. Actually, it's done by the three modes of nature. So as soon as the jiva drops down into this material world, he immediately caught up by the modes of nature. It is very difficult. It's very difficult to get out of the clutches of material nature. Because, why Krishna says, Daivihi yesha gunamai, mama maya duratyaya. He says, Daivihi yesha gunamai, this material nature is mine. And mine means it's Krishna's nature. It's Krishna's energy. Krishna's energy means it's insurmountable. It cannot be broken. It's powerful energy. And this powerful energy, she has these three modes as her servants. And there's not a single person from Brahma to the ant are not controlled by these modes of nature. But then Krishna gives an alternative. He says, Mom, what says, Daivihesha guname gunamai mama maya duratyaja mam evayam prapadyante maya metam taratyate. But those who come to me, mama evayam prapadyante maya metam taratyate, she will not touch you. So this is the science. It may sometimes this is the spiritual path is not that so blissful as we thought or as it been thought of. Definitely we are swimming against the currents. Prabhupada mentions here also, in many places Prabhupada mentions, in Srimad Bhagavatam also, Prahlad Maharaj also quotes, that this material ocean is a very difficult to overcome because it's influenced by three modes of nature. But when we surrender to Krishna, then also Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityaja, give it to me, surrender to me, come to me, I will. Now how do we do that? The question is, how do we surrender to Krishna? How do we go towards Krishna? That is only through devotional service. Through service, Prabhupada said, through devotional service. That is the path where we can attract Krishna's attention. When we say service, it is said by Prahlad Maharaj, there are 9 kinds of devotional service. Now be the bhakti. Foremost of that, the first and the foremost is important is Shravanam. Prabhupada said that the Krishna consciousness process is simple for the simple. Shravanam, hearing, is very important. But the problem in us is we like to do Kirtanam, Prajalpa. We are hardly we wanted to do Shravanam. Kirtanam very interesting because we can talk. Whenever we discuss, and we see nowadays people, somebody is talking to someone, he's waiting when everybody wants to talk, not to listen. This is an austerity. Listening, hearing, even it may be in school, it may be anything. This quality in a children, developing this quality of hearing is very important. Otherwise, everybody wants to, talk. That's going on all over the world. And by hearing, the great souls purified themselves, liberated themselves. Parikshit Maharaj purified himself by hearing. Janamajaya purified by hearing. And Prachetas purified by hearing. Uddhava purified by hearing. Vidura purified by hearing. All the great personalities and had purified themselves by hearing. Therefore, because this Shravan is very important, Srila Prabhupada wrote thousands of books. Hundreds of books Prabhupada wrote and distributed only to increase the Shravan. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, actually we are hearing Prabhupada. Because the words, when we read, we are actually repeating Srila Prabhupada's words and we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. In a big Pandal program in Russia, there was a Pandal program going on, and then the question and answers here came. Then Shivaram Swami Maharaj is supposed to answer this Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj. So he came to the stage and asked anybody has questions. So there are many hands, hundreds of hands raised. Then he asked, okay, before that, may I ask you a question? How many of you read Srila Prabhupada's books for 1 hour? 50%, 60% hands came down. Then we asked Prabhupada's book, who reads for 2 hours? 95% book hands came out. Then he said, all the answers, everything is in Srila Prabhupada's books. Unless you read Srila Prabhupada's books daily, how will you understand even if I answer your questions? So please read Srila Prabhupada's books. Next time when I meet, we'll take this answer question and session. And he left. So session completed in just 5 minutes time. So the service attitude in the sense menial service, yes, but we should start mainly with hearing about Krishna, his pastimes, his paraphernalia, everything. Actually, you are all practicing Krishna consciousness. There is nothing yet because we have to speak on these 3 modes of nature. So we are just discussing few points which is coming to my mind. So you all know this subject very clearly. Actually, To get out of these material modes of nature is difficult because it gives us pleasure. It gives us a great pleasure. Anything contact with modes of nature. The person in mode of goodness feels, oh, tamaguna, yeah. Who will be in tamaguna? I mean, it's not tasty for him. The person in mode of rajaguna, for him, tamaguna is not tasty. He may fall. But you must understand, the three modes are not unique. They never be purely, of course, Brahma is pure goodness. But when we come to this material world, they always fighting between the three modes. Nobody stays purely on the mode of goodness or raja or tama. Sometimes, Krishna says, sometimes rajaguna overtakes sattva-guna. Sometimes tamaguna overtakes rajaguna. We have seen practically how sometimes we are there, sometimes here, sometimes here. We are always on the ranks going up and down, 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 up. So there is always competition between the three modes of material nature. And to give it to them is very difficult because it gives us a pleasure. Those in the tamaguna, they have sleeping 12 hours, 13 hours. It's a great pleasure. If you say do not sleep, sleep for 5 hours, I mean, forget it, it's not taste for them. But for the person in sattva-guna, for him sleeping more than 6-7 hours, it's a displeasure. So this taste is there in the body because of the senses. Unless there is a taste, we will not do it. We will not eat any food which doesn't be tasty. If it is no salt, no spices, we will not eat it. If anything, we want some taste. So by Krishna's arrangement, this Prakriti has made the three modes so that they can give us some taste, so that we can stay in this material world. But Krishna says, Mam yobicharena bhakti-yoga sevete sagunan samatitan ramapuyata kalpite. Then he says, yes, a devotee who unflinchingly devoted himself in devotional service, who doesn't fall down at any moment, overcomes, transcends these modes of nature, comes to the Brahman platform. And Krishna Prabhupada writes here, but when one is freed from the influence of modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service. After coming into the Brahman platform, we can start devotional service. Till then, yes, we are practicing. Just like a plane, it's going on the runway, it's running on the runway. We are like that on the runway. But it's not that for the purpose of the plane to run on the runway, right? It has to take off. So we are going on in the plane, runway, we are practicing. Unless we come to the Brahman platform, we cannot take off. Sambandha. Sambandha, we have got already. Srila Prabhupada, the Srila Prabhupada's books. That bija. It's very important that the bija is purified. Because see, Krishna says, Brahmanda Brahmata Kona Bhakyavan Jiva. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti-yoga. We are absolutely fortunate because we have got this bija, the seed from the original source. You know, nowadays in the market, the genetic modified seeds, right? We get genetically modified seeds. So even this bija can be genetically modified, which we get, which can give us the wrong lata. So therefore, the bija is very important that we get from a proper purified source. And we are fortunate being in ISKCON Krishna consciousness. We have got this bija from our spiritual masters, from Srila Prabhupada, and it's growing up. So when I was telling about the taste, yes, it's definitely difficult to disconnect from this because we have a taste for it. But then, if somebody is offering you some halwa, but somebody brings you some gulab jamuns, you'll prefer for gulab jamuns. I don't know why. I mean, I will prefer for gulab jamun and or rasagulla. When you have a higher taste, you'll leave the lower taste. So that's why Krishna says, those who transcends the modes of nature, come to the Vasudeva state, Brahman platform, can taste the higher taste. And when you come to that position, it will be transcendent. The pleasure that we were discussing is all the living entities have this pleasure. And actually, this pleasure, we know very well, we have experienced how permanent it is. Prahlad Maharaj, after his father was killed, Hiranyakashipu was killed, then Narasimhadev was sitting on the throne and he was completely angry, and he was, even the demigods, even Lord Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi was afraid to go in front of her. Then Prahlad Maharaj went there and he started to offer beautiful prayers because Lord touched his hand on his head. And he started to give beautiful prayers. In his prayers he says, "Oh Lord, I have seen opulence. I know what is happiness. I have seen my father. I have seen these demigods who have completely in higher standard of pleasure, were enjoying how they were terrified by my father. They used to, by blink of the eyes of my father, eyebrows, moving the eyebrows, they used to shiver. But I saw within a few seconds, you have shattered him. And he says, I do not want, my Lord, all this happiness, this flickering happiness. Please do not give this to me. All I want, he's asking, please give me an shelter, eternal shelter of a pure devotee whom I can serve as a servant. This is what his desire. He wants to serve. He wants to surrender to a spiritual master. Give his lotus feet to me, through whom I can serve. I do not want any other benedictions. After all, our flickering happiness is in touch with the objects of the senses. Touch, smell, taste. These objects which attracts us, how much do we require for our senses, for the body? Prabhupada had actually told, simple living, high thinking. The problem is that because we are conditioned for millions of lives, even after taking to Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to understand, to follow 100% the way that Srila Prabhupada has given us, structured the life. Prabhupada said a small piece of land and a cow is adequate to live our lives. Would you understand now what's going on in this world? We are very happy. Now we go to the supermarket, we buy products. Milkman comes and gives us milk on the door. Everything is available. We buy a bottle of water in the shop. I saw a clip about water sometime back in WhatsApp. They are putting 2017, one bottle of water, 20 rupees. Then they say 2020 or 23 is giving 500 rupee note, bottle of water. Then it goes again 2025, 30, then 2000 rupees. Then it goes to 2050 or something. One person is giving, this bunch of 500 rupees notes. He's saying, take it away. Then he gives his mobile, his wristwatch, chain. He said, no, go away, take it away. Water cannot be given, one bottle of water. This will, and also recently I heard, I was speaking to a person who is dealing with this social service and working with this maintenance. He was telling that in India, 55% of the lands have been converted into landscapes, agricultural lands, 55%. This is survey of 2010 or 2007, he was saying. And what are they going to eat after that? And people working in industries, in IT industries, if they have been left out of work, thrown out of work, how could you manage to? They will not know how to cultivate a land, how to milk a cow. So that's why Prabhupada said we need a land and a cow, we can maintain it. The whole situation in the world, water pollution, ecological pollution, antisocial elements, things are going bad to worse. So what we discussed, as I understood, is that simple living, high thinking means we should reduce our requirements. For our body, how much do we require? We need some food, we need some water, we need some shelter. It's easy to be said than done. Of course, it's not that easy for our comforts, we need everything. But basically what we require is these basic things. By doing this, what happens is, we will also try to control the modes of nature. Either you can go this way or this way. By the surrendering process of Krishna is a package. We need to work with the process what the Guru has given us. It's not that modes of nature will go, just I'll sit and chant Hare Krishna, the modes of nature will disappear. Yes, of course it will disappear. But we are not in that level. So our association, what we do, what we eat, what we desire, should also comply with it. For that is the purpose, to show, as we discussed before, that how we can overcome this modes of nature is to have attachment towards Krishna. That attachment is service. Now to show how to serve the Lord, how to develop this attachment between the Jiva and the Lord, is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. To show us how to enact ourselves. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, descriptions are there. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke very less actually. He did not give a lot of instructions of he gave, but his instructions were through actions. He showed how to conduct ourselves, how to live our lives in such a way that we can revive our lost consciousness, overcome these modes of nature, and attain the Brahman platform. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some of pastimes, where he depicted how the Lord, and as a devotee, before I come to that, as a devotee, we should understand, we should have complete faith in Krishna. Krishna says, Yoga Shemam Vahamya. Of course, Yoga Shema, it's theoretically very nice, but when we come to practice, it may not be that much of surrender to Krishna that, yes, Krishna will take care of us, all our needs. But this kind of faith, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed in his pastimes, showed through his devotees how we can fully depend on Krishna, and Krishna do take care, he will take care. Definitely, there's no doubt about it. Once in the house of Srivas Thakur, Srivas Angan, Srivas Prabhu lived with his brother and his family. His brother was Ramai Pandit. They were like good friends. They were brothers, but they were very good friends. And all the day, what they do, they read Srimad Bhagavatam, they chant the holy names, and then they dance in the evening with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this goes on day by day by day. So one day, when they were reading Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the house. And he asked Srivas, what are you doing? He said, I'm reading Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, oh Srivas, okay, I know that you do every day, but what do you do for your living? And Srivas was silent. He said, Mahaprabhu, I have everything. I have nothing to worry. I am completely contented. Chaitanya said, no, okay, all right. But what do you do? How do you get your living every day? How are you living? How do you maintain yourself? Then again he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I do not want anything. I have everything, so why should I go for work? I am happy with reading the scriptures. I am happy, singing the holy names, and I am contented and I get everything. Then Shiva said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, then you should take sannyas. If this is that attachment, what take sannyas? He said, no, I am not qualified for sannyas and I am not prepared for sannyas. I will continue like that. Then again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, at least tell me, how do you get these things? How does it comes to you? Then Srivas Thakur just clapped 3 times. He said, this is how I get. He said, just by clapping you get? Yes, he said, if I clap 3 times, because all day I am remembering the Lord and I am serving the Lord, and Lord has said, Yogasham Vahamya, if I clap 3 times and the Lord does not provide me, I will go to the Ganges, tie a stone on my body, and I will jump and kill myself. How will my Lord not protect me, not provide me the necessities of life when I am serving Him completely? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started to dance jubilance. He jumped, he danced, he said, Srivas, I declare today boldly, in case, in future, at any point of time, if there will be poverty, if there will be, complete famine, and people will beg door to door for food, there is nothing. And even a situation will come where goddess of Lakshmi has to come down begging for food. I assure you, your house will be filled with everything. You will never have to be under any deficiency. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy hearing this. Of course, we cannot imitate these great personalities. It is not for imitation, but it is to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed by this activity that yes, by depending on the Lord, by executing our devotional service in a proper way, Krishna will provide us everything. And while they were talking, there another great personality came, Vasudeva Datta. Vasudeva Datta was very dear to the Lord. Vasudeva Datta had never any desire except to see all the living entities happy. His only desire was to see that all living entities are happy, and he never envies anyone. If he sees anything fault, he does not see any fault actually. If he sees, he feels so bad, and if anybody says anything bad, he really feels so hurt. Vasudeva Datta, before this stage, actually was infected with a severe skin disease. And he was used to have, these worms coming out of this pus and, this wound. And when the worms fall out from his wound, he'll pick them up, put them back in the wound. He'll pick them up again, put them back. He said, this body is useless. And at least these are eating, how can I defy them? How can I say no to these worms? At least I'm doing some service for them. And he'll put them back. And this was going on for years. I can only just think about it. It's, So one day Kshatriya Mahaprabhu did not come immediately. Kshatriya Mahaprabhu saw this couple of times. He knows about Vasudeva Datta. Then Vasudeva Datta once came and Kshatriya passed and he stopped and he lifted him, he hugged him. And Vasudeva Datta was completely, embarrassed. He said, no, don't touch me. You are Gauranga, don't touch me. But immediately as Jaranga Mahaprabhu touched him, his body became completely purified. He got a beautiful complexion, beautiful body. But Vasudeva Datta was not very happy. He said, Vasudeva, are you all right? He said, Mahaprabhu, you could have left me like this. I was fine. Fine in the sense, my heart is completely, he was telling that I was envy, hatred, all these things will come in my heart otherwise. Now I have got a beautiful body. Now my senses are very strong. Now the modes of nature will disturb me and I can fall to envy. Or Mahaprabhu blessed him, you are my devotee, you will never come in the influence of the modes of nature. One day he came, Vasudeva Datta, when he was in Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came and asked, Mahaprabhu, I have a desire which I want to ask the Lord. He said, Vasudeva Datta, what desire do you have? Which desire the Lord will not fulfill? Ask me. He said, Lord, I see the sufferings of all the living entities in this world. I wish I take away all the sufferings to myself and you liberate all of them. I will take it. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Vasudeva Datta, this desire of yours, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started to cry. He said, because of you I descended into this material world. It is because of you I came. You called me, I came here because for you. And I promise I will liberate every living entity in this world for the time coming. I will liberate them. You don't need to suffer anything. I will do that. So this is the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and performed his Gaura Leela and showed us how we can go back to Krishna. See, in Krishna consciousness we have going back to Godhead has become a very simple, phrase. We are going to go back. Yes, that is the journey. When we are traveling, we should know where we are going, right? I cannot just walk, go on. That's what's happening. Karmis, outside world people, they just walk. What do you do if you take a bus and just go on, change buses, change bus, go on? It'll be happy? Will you have any reason? That's how the people are doing. They're just traveling, just walking. But devotees, we are also in the same bus, we are going, but we know the destination, where we are going. So our destination is back to Godhead, going back to Krishna. Yes, because we want to go. We know that this world is a miserable place. The happiness is tangible. But the journey, it's a journey. So destination may take time, but we should continue. And Krishna, believe me, Krishna is very kind. Krishna is the kindest personality of all the universes. He is the most kindest. But the problem is our free will. We are very scared to give the free will. I don't know about you, but yes, I'm speaking because this is called self-realization, so I have this realization about me. This free will is very high. Somebody touches the free will a little bit. I am like having 1,000 watt inside me, the person is thrown away. It's that free will. We do not want to touch. But if we give the free will to Krishna, if we do not want our free will to be ours, then Krishna can take charge. I will read you a poem written by Bhakti-yoga Swami Maharaj. It's a beautiful poem. He written this few years before he left his body. I will read this poem and we can read it. It's not very clear. He says, it's a prayer. He writes to Krishna. He says, Lord, take my free will, Krishna. He says, Lord, take my free will, Krishna, I am yours. Force me to do what is right and best. Use me as you like. Be my intelligence. You be my mind. You act as my will. I don't know what is best for me. In this lifetime, I am trying so hard and nothing is working. I ask you to put me in the right place, at the right time, for the right thing. Whatever is best, whether it is auspicious or inauspicious, being upon me, auspicious, bring upon me what I need. My desire, my intelligence, even my will, they are all contaminated. I offer them all to you, my dear Lord, Shama Sundara. I am yours. You do with me what is best. Help me to be eager to accept, not in a grudging mood, but with real zeal and enthusiasm, as I submit myself and ask you, what can I do? So on is Bhakti-tirtha Swami. So Maharaj is writing very nicely that how take my free will, Krishna. We should be very careful when we are praying to Krishna. When we pray to Krishna, and Krishna will reciprocate. So our prayers, if you pray, Krishna will definitely reciprocate. So we should be very careful how we can do it. That's why we should approach Krishna through Guru, Sadhu, Guru. Because Guru is the most closest person to us and he knows what circumstances, what we require, what we need, what is our relationship with Krishna. He can understand and he can guide us accordingly. Not good Guru or senior, our God sisters, God brothers, or senior, we may not approach all the time Guru. This is very important. Then we can understand what is our desire, how Krishna can use our free will, how we can give our free will. So coming to conclusion, the modes of nature are stringent and Krishna's energy, Daiviki Gunamaya. But Krishna assures that you can come over it by surrendering unto Him. The surrendering process is through bhakti. Bhakti means devotional service. Prabhupada gave the beautiful word. Bhakti means not sentiment, but it is devotional service. Devotional service means 9 process, and this Shravanam, we thought that there is the most important aspect of Navavida Bhakti and Shravanam. Prabhupada has written all these books for us to read, to understand through Shravanam. So by doing this, gradually, one day, there's hope that we can come over the modes of material nature. I'm sure you are all practicing Krishna consciousness nicely. I beg forgiveness if I had spoken something not relevant, and I beg all your blessings so that one day I am so much conditioned by these modes of nature. So I can come out of this one day. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any comments? Yes, we have 5 minutes to take. Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Body we have, and body in this body also we will go back and back to body. If we are practicing our Krishna consciousness, then in this material with this body we can go back and back body. This example of Ajami and other bodies they are giving this. So we should see that how in this body we should practice Krishna consciousness so that we can go back and back.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Ajamila actually did not go with this body. He went to Haridwar. Actually, after the dream, he realized that all his mistakes. Then he went to Haridwar. He did tapasya. Then he left his body. So the Vishnudutas came and took him back. So yes, we can go. Prabhupada says yes, in this birth possible. It can be a last birth. We can see Krishna is Surat. He is free will. In case, we have completed 10% of Krishna consciousness, and Prabhupada says, like in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna also says, next birth will start with 11%. And sometimes Krishna can give 90% and take us back. And some people may have 99%, Krishna may not give that 1%. Krishna is going back to Godhead is not, we cannot satisfy Krishna neither through austerities, through our chanting. Prahlad Maharaj says that, my dear Lord, everything that we do for you is nothing is for you. You are Atmaram. We cannot satisfy you through our processes. It is only for our good we doing it. And he gives a beautiful example, like we dress in front of the mirror and we see the image of the mirror looks beautiful. So when we do to the deities or when we do something for the Lord, it reflects on us. It's nothing for the Lord. If you do not offer bhoga, it's not He's going to starve. If you do not do arati, it's not the Lord is going to be, left out. So by doing these processes, yes, Krishna can be pleased with our mood, but we cannot go back to Krishna just by these processes alone. So finally it is Krishna who is the final verdict is after Krishna. Of course, Parampara, Krishna, Vaishnava's blessings. That's why it is said that when Radharani recommends somebody to Krishna, Krishna will not reject. And Radharani takes from Balaram, Balaram from Nityananda. So this Parampara. So they recommend, and Radharani recommends to Krishna, he's nice devotee Krishna. He's better than you and me. Please take. Krishna will say yes. But if we try to directly approach Krishna, but Krishna, Sarvadam, he has the various, of course, that's why he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a very mild form, a loving form to show us how to can satisfy Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Hare.